Good afternoon, everybody. Woo! Today we have an interesting one, man. Wow. Let me just start off. I'm going to start off by setting the scene up for you guys. And I want to ask you a few questions. For those of you that are watching, I'm going to ask you some questions right away from the door. And I want you to think about this, all right? And this will tell you and determine whether this is something that's for you. Let's start out with, did you ever feel like you have to pretend you've got it all together just to be taken seriously? Think about it as an entrepreneur. Think about that. Are you carrying the pressure to look successful while secretly feeling stuck? I wanted to put these on the screen for those of you that watch the playback later, because I really want you to get in tune with this. Do you ever struggle knowing what's safe to share publicly versus what to keep private while you're still processing it? And lastly, have you ever asked the wrong person for advice and regretted it later? Well, if so, this episode is for you. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Unapologetic Entrepreneur, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are going to discover and talk about several things. I know the internet has been going crazy with everything that's happened in the last few days, and it's quite sad and tragic on everything that's happened with Charlie Clerk, and I want to make sure that I publicly say my condolences goes out to the family. But we are gonna cover and talk about that today because I think it's very important. We've been watching it unfold. So once again, I want to welcome you to the show where we're gonna cut through the noise, kill the excuses, and talk about what really takes to build something that lasts. All right, because we are all at the end of the day still talking about entrepreneurship. Excuse me a second as I get this going over here so I can make sure that we have good communication, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of things in store for you today. So give me 1 second and I'll be right here going through it with you. Okay. So let's uncover it and talk about it. So we're going to talk about authenticity. All right. Oh, before I start, let me welcome some of our guests. Who's here today? Who's here already? Hey, what's going on? Happy Friday. What's going on, Coach? What's going on? Thank you for always tuning in and supporting. Takira, thank you. Thank you. How you doing? I always want to make sure I say thank you to my people because, they come on, they ask some interesting questions. Guys, also know that as you come on and you're watching, you're able to participate in the conversation because this is important. This is what we're talking about today. Authenticity. Is it really freedom? Is that what we're talking about? Is it free to be authentic? When is it dangerous to be your authentic self? Okay. Unfortunately, I know that all of you have been online seeing what's going on. What's going on? My brother's watching. What's going on, Armando? I see you. I see you. Um, is it dangerous to be your authentic self, and when should you be your authentic self? All this is very important to keep in mind as an entrepreneur. As just a civilian, as a person. So I want to talk about how pretending is pressure. Every day, if you pretend every day, it's going to build pressure on your shoulders, right? Authenticity, what that does is it puts you in alignment, and alignment brings peace. It's peace of mind. So I want to put something out there for you. Authenticity doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. And I want you to have that in your mind. But when being authentic, what some of the things that we could learn from all the past tragedies, no one should deserve to have their life taken from them, because that's what occurred. For speaking your mind, for being free, for spreading a word, for just talking, period. Let's keep it basic. But we do have unwritten rules, if you would, right, about conversations that we're having when it comes to authenticity. And one of those things is you have to really know the difference between closed door conversations and open door conversations. See, sometimes we're still processing thoughts. Sometimes we really thought it out. But should those conversations be in the public forum? Look, I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I'm just speaking and giving some light on what occurred. So don't look at me as the answer. This is for all of us to get involved. Oh, we already have comments. I didn't even get started. Look at this. Let's see what we got here. Oh, it's people. Oh, it can be a curse, a true double-edged sword. It is a catch-22. That's what catch-22 means. It's sharp on both sides. It can be a gift and a curse. Yep, it can. It really can. And in some cases, we have tragedy. There are curses because not everybody wants to hear your truth. I use that very particular when I say your truth, because there's always three sides to a story, right? There's one side, the other side, and then what lies in the middle. So just remember what I said, though. Pretending adds pressure. Nobody wants to pretend. Everybody wants to be their most authentic self, because that brings peace. So let's get to the topic at hand. When I'm talking about authenticity, isn't about dumping everything online. There's a difference between being honest and being impulsive. And I'm taking the whole conversation to entrepreneurship, leadership, mentorship. You got to be careful when you're having these conversations. You got to know, you got to read the room. You got to be in the right rooms to have the right conversations. I want to make sure I keep track to see if anybody has anything to say while we're talking. These conversations that you're having, sometimes they should be processed privately. Sometimes people need to be more intentional about what they're sharing, because there is share responsibility. There's a responsibility behind you sharing certain information that you hear or that you want to say. Boardroom and locker room conversations sometimes need to stay there. Exactly, Coach. You said it. And you know what? You do such a great job of this, because some conversations aren't made for the public. And you know what's dangerous? That once you say certain things, you can't take them back. Once words leave the mouth, they're out there. So we have to be very careful in what we're doing. And when you're unsure, see, this is why I'm leading into entrepreneurship, because when I'm watching everything that's happening and how people are reacting and the comments, oh my God, everybody wants to have an opinion, about a man that just spoke his mind. Whether he was right or wrong or indifferent, none of that matters, because what matters is all the events that took place, what happened, and then if you start listening to conversations, Should he have said everything he was saying out loud? Was it all always educational? Was it some opinionated? That's here. That's on the listener, because we all hear different messages from the person speaking. Right now, a lot of you are probably thinking I'm saying one thing and I know what I'm saying. So I know my truth, right? But not everybody's truth, not your total truth should be in the air. And when you're seeking, when you're going to start putting stuff out, there's something that's very important. I'm talking to all you entrepreneurs. There's something that's very important. Seeking help is not a bad thing. One of the questions I ask you, have you ever asked advice and it came back to hurt you? Have you ever asked advice from somebody and it actually came back to hurt you? You know why that happened? You asked advice from the wrong person. And I think that before we start giving our opinions or starting to start a movement, it helps to have a second ear. Get a second opinion. See if this is, as Coach said, boardroom conversation, or is this going to be a locker room conversation? And I don't know if you guys know the difference. A boardroom is out there for everybody. Now, when you have a locker room conversation, teams, when they talk in the locker room, those things that happen in the locker room shouldn't come out to the public. There's a reason why they're in a locker room. That's an in-house thing. So how do you know what to say and when to say it? Well, seek for help. When in doubt, ask for help. When in doubt. Oh, I got a comment here. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Why can't a person express themselves where and when they choose to? It's called freedom of speech. You know what? Go ahead, play angel's advocate. I prefer angel's advocate. I love that you said that. No one said you can't. That's why it's called freedom of speech. And anybody else in the comments, please rebuttal, talk. Let's have a conversation. I didn't say you can't. What I'm saying is that sometimes you got to be careful in what you're saying, because everything we say can be taken out of proportion, and unfortunately sometimes has unfortunate risk. And sometimes you're understood. You're misunderstood. People like to ask folks predictable questions. They do, because it's easier to handle that. And it's okay to be controversial and speak your mind and do whatever you want. You're absolutely 100% right, Takira. It is freedom of speech. But with everything in life, every decision we make, everything we say, every way no matter how you act, there's always some kind of consequence, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that he deserved it. And I'm not saying, please don't mistake the message. What I'm saying is that there's conversations for different places. I'm sure there's things that happen within your family that stay within the family. No one's on Channel 11 News discussing private family affairs out loud. Some people decide to tell their story because they use it to help others. And some people keep some of their stories inside because it's nobody's business. So at the end of the day, you do have a freedom of speech, but there's a responsibility that comes with that. And that's why there's a difference between boardroom conversation and locker room conversation. No one is saying that you're restricted, but you do have to choose wisely on the things that we speak about, especially as an entrepreneur. See, as an entrepreneur and a leader, you say the wrong thing, your whole business can collapse. Why? Because people don't agree. Maybe you really say something the wrong way. You hurt people. People sometimes work within their feelings. So you have to know how to have conversations with people and try to make sure that you have some type of empathy in what you're saying and what you're doing. And you know what? We're all a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. Man, this is why we go through all these episodes. I talk about something very important, and that is mentorship. Because none of us got all the answers, but mentorship helps you understand and work with people. As an entrepreneur, you got to know how to work with your clients and the people that work with you and your partners, because there has to be a common ground, and that common ground usually is respect. And you can respect people for their opinions, but you got to be careful how you deliver that message, regardless how you say it. So I hope that answered that was a good rebuttal to your answer, Takira, but it was a great comment. But freedom of speech, you still got to be careful with that word freedom. I don't know if freedom of speech is so free. Let me see. I think I got some. Oh, I got some more questions. I haven't even gotten to this part. This is going to be good. Okay, here we go. We got, oh no, he said that already. Let's go over here. Speaking on private conversations, boardroom and locker room conversations sometimes need to stay there. Absolutely, we went over that one. Good, good, good. Let's see. All right, we got that one in already. Predictable questions. Let's see what's going on right here. Well, it depends on the role they play and where they're trying to go. Oh, there you go, TT. There's another question. There's a comment to you. It depends. So, hey, you can always rebuttal to that. This is getting fun. Your words carry weight and influence. Mr. August Jacques. We're no longer in August, but I still got love for you, baby. We're in September. Yes, sir. That is very true. And that, I guess that sums up everything I was saying before. Your words do carry weight, and sometimes that weight, again, people got to carry, and they don't like carrying too much weight. We have enough weight to carry, so why not make the load a little lighter? Depending on how you say things, yeah, some messages have to be delivered, but how you deliver them makes a total difference. So I appreciate that comment right there. Don, that's that going to medical schools, they'll say the same thing that Johnny on the Fifth Ave can say. Backlash. Coach, you're gonna have to rephrase that one for me, brother. So I can predict. I can talk on that one. So let me go back to the point while we're waiting for some of these other comments. I do have some stuff I want to talk about when I start talking about seeking for help. See, if I'm ever in doubt, I know where I have to go, and all of you have your own place. I know where I have to go, but certain people don't know who to go to, what to do. You know, every moment, everybody gets hit with moments where things just get heavy in their life. Asking for help is a good thing. It helps you from collapsing later, you know. So you got to be very careful, but also don't be afraid or to have too much of an ego to ask for help. Whether it's your mental health, your finances, or in business. Asking for a strategy is sometimes the best thing you could do. Silence doesn't solve anything, but asking does. So, how do you know who to ask? Who do I get help from? Who do I get help from, Leo? To give me something, because I'm an entrepreneur. These are some of the comments I've gotten before I started this. I'm an entrepreneur and I don't know how to ask. Well, I'm going to give you something and I'm going to tell you exactly who to ask. Ready? You're going to look for three things. And it's a beautiful acronym. It's three simple letters. ETA. When I learned these, it was hard to forget them because it speaks to everything, especially entrepreneurship. ETA. You could use this in life. You could use this in business all the time. Before you start looking to who to ask, just ask yourself, ETA. Now, before I answer what ETA means, let me see if anybody wrote something, because we got a lot. Oh, okay. There's going to be one of them days. Oh, there you go. Thank you. You must have a trusted, confident mentor that's been there and done that. That's good. Been there, done that, right, August? But how do you know if they've been there or done that? Sometimes you got, you watch, you look, you ask. But we literally learned ETA. You ready for what ETA stands for? I'm going to give you guys some notes today. Hope you're writing. E is for experience. Does the person have experience in what you're doing? Have they done it? Exactly what August just said. Been there, done that. Sometimes we got to learn to listen to our mentors, not just hear them. Listen means that you're intentional about the process and the words that are coming out of their mouth. So listen, have they really been there? Can they give you examples? Can they show you what they've done? Do they have the experience, as the word says? People will show you. You'll know their experience. You can see the conviction when they're talking to you. As a matter of fact, you can look it up. So having experience is number one. So when you're seeking out a mentor or someone to talk to regarding what we're having the conversation about, or regarding anything in entrepreneurship, ask yourself, do they have the experience? Period. Now you go to the T. Do they have a track record? Do they have consistent results? Not a fly-by-night thing. Hey, I've done that once. That means I know how to do it. Well, if you did it once, did they do it again and again and again? Did they prove that they got it down to a science? E, experience. T, do they have a track record? And lastly, do they have the application? Are they actively doing it now? Not in the heyday, not many moons ago when things were different, not when cars didn't exist, not when computers weren't running. Can they do the same thing right now if they wanted to? Are they doing it? E, T, A. Experience, track record, and application. Before I go on, let's see what we got here in the chat. Oh, look at you trying to beat me to it. A proven track record. I'm in your notes. Yes, you are. You're all up in my notes. Get out of there, August. I love it. So ETA, do they have it? Now, if they have ETA, now this person can be qualified to be your mentor. Now you know who to ask before you speak, before you act, before you actually put everything into play. You need to make sure that you're not doing this alone. Guys, ETA is what it's about. You're not alone in entrepreneurship at all, unless you want to be. There's always people out there doing what you already have done. And if they're not doing exactly what you have done, they're doing some form of it where you can reach out and actually ask them for this. Now, sometimes it takes a little, taking them out for coffee, dinner. I don't know. That's up to that person. But at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, if you have somebody that has ETA, that's your mentor. And now when you listen to them, they'll, theory. Okay. Forget track record. We got theory. Sorry, replace that. Are they well educated in the industry? Let's replace ETA. So track record or theory. Good. You know what? You got me writing notes, sir. Look at that. I'm writing some notes right here on the air, live. Theory. So do they have the theory? Are they well educated in the industry? Which will take you to them. If they're educated, guess what they have? A proven track record. So thanks for that, Coach. I appreciate that. Now that the person is qualified to be giving you advice, right? Why don't you take and listen intentionally and take the meat, spit out the bones. Make sure, if you trust them, move forward, because they're putting you in the right direction, putting you on track, giving you a blueprint to say this is good for a public forum. There's locker room talk. It's all about delivery. It's all about what we do in our business. And I think it's very important to be guided in the right direction when you're dealing with that. Now, do we have any? Can we check the comment board? I like theory. Okay, I'm glad you do. Oh, we got another question you should ask yourself. August is all up today. August, you're here today, man. Miss you, man. Do they have the mental altitude to teach? EQ, AQ. Guys, you better write that down, what EQ and AQ mean. You know what, August, if you want to write a little blurb to give the viewers some background on that, I'll put it up, because I think it's very important to talk about that. Do they have the mental altitude to be able to teach? Because not everybody can teach. Takira is giving props to theory. That's what it is experience, theory. Oh, they must have IQ, EQ, SQ, and AQ. They need all the Qs. I mean, that's to talk to August. August knows what he's looking for in a mentor. If they don't have those, he's not talking to them. He's not seeking information. He's not going to listen exactly to what they're saying. He's going to see what works for him, and he's going to keep looking for another mentor. And this is a good start for all entrepreneurs that are watching this today, because it's a lesson in knowing how to move in the right direction. Now, there are some questions I'm going to ask. I got some general answers. Let's see. Whoever's out there, please participate. I got a question for you. Why do so many entrepreneurs feel pressure to hide their real selves? What are they scared of? What are some things they might be scared of? I'll give a few seconds to see if I got anything that pops up. If not, I'll go with my theory and we can continue talking about it. Here's a general reason I feel that a lot of entrepreneurs, and this goes out to each and every one of you that are either thinking of starting a business or in business. We talk about a lot in our industry about secret agents. And I was thinking about that. And I was thinking about some of the answers we received in the past. Why do people stay secretive about what they do? Well, here's the thought: fear of judgment or rejection. See, especially when it comes to social media, the pressure that they get from everyone appears to be successful because that's what they're putting out there, right? Back to the episode, if you want to go back a few episodes, fake it till you make it. We talked about that for a while. Some people are really faking, and that's affecting. So if I go to post or do something or tell the world about what I do, I'm fearful of the judgment I'm going to receive, because am I painting a picture of success? I need to show success in order to show people what I'm doing. And it's all about the pressure that they feel. But hiding yourself is exhausting. You get no results that way. Vulnerability, guys, for those of you that are secret agents, your vulnerability builds trust. And showing your struggles makes your wins relatable. So that's what I come back when I got that answer. As far as fear of judgment and rejection, well, it's okay to show that where you started at. I've seen my mentor's humble beginnings. I've seen where he's at. I've seen his track record, if you would, and that makes it authentic for me. That makes it real. So I don't know if anybody has any other view on that question, but feel free to write. I got another question for you. How can you tell if something should stay behind closed doors for now? So when you have a thought, how can you tell in your mind, is this something I should keep amongst a committed few to myself? How do I know the difference? I would love to see some of the answers to that, because I think that's a real relevant question regarding what all the things that have occurred. Here, answers to the first question, guys. We have, let's see if we can get them up real quick so everybody can see them in the call. So why are people scared and why do they want to be secret agents? Because people don't approve of what they're doing. Well, Elimnish, I got something for you on that one. Do you approve of it? Is it legal? Is it ethical? And are you hurting anyone? And if you approve of it, what does it matter anybody else's opinion? Someone out there needs what you do. So disapproval should not be something on your mind. And now we got another one, failure. This is why people don't want to put it out there, because of failure. Few episodes I talk about failure, right? What should you do? Fail forward. You don't fail unless you quit. The only reason you feel like you failed is because all you really did is you didn't do it in a successful manner. So just think of another way to tell people, but don't be afraid of failure. Failure leads to success. You can't succeed without having failure. If you find one entrepreneur that hasn't failed and has success, please let me know. Let me know. As a matter of fact, I'll pay you, because every successful entrepreneur has failed. The difference is that they failed forward and they kept moving and kept moving. And through their actions, they reached success. They never really failed. They just found the wrong ways to do what they were doing. So there is no such thing as failure. Here's some education for those of you. I like to put these up when people put the comments, because when they go back and rewatch the episode, they could take out notes. We got intelligence quadrant, the emotional quadrant, we got the social quadrant, and the adversity quadrant. We discussed, doing a shout out, we discussed and explained this on the CEO Life morning calls. Yes, we do. You need all the quadrants in order to mentor Mr. August over here. What are they afraid of? We still got some fear ones here. Afraid to show their flaws. I think there's beauty in my scars. There's beauty in your scars. They tell a story. Your scars tell a story. You know what? Stories sell. People are interested more in the story than they are in the product because they know what the product is, but they want to know in the story how it could work for them. So the flaws to me, I don't know. I think there's beauty in flaws. So anybody that's listening to this is some of their, and I'm not saying that's the Kira's fear. I'm just saying that's something she put in there. Oh, embarrassed of being exposed that they don't know what they are talking about. Now that's that's a fake it till you make it statement. If that's the case, if that is your situation, you don't want to put out information out there because you're afraid of being exposed. You can fix that. How? Asking for help. Humble yourself. Ask for help. Find someone who has ETA. Get trained, and then speak your truth. So that was a good one. That was a good one. We got a lot of comments today, and that's just one question. Definitely committed to trusted individuals. Okay. Sean Anderson coming out of the blue. Here we go. They're afraid of not having all the answers. Nobody has all the answers. You know what's the most impressive thing I've read in a book? They told me in one of the books I read, I'm not going to tell you which one because I can't remember. I'm now become such an avid reader. But I read that being able to tell someone, I'm not sure of that answer, but I'll get the answer for you is more powerful than trying to fake yourself through an answer and giving the wrong information. And I really believe that. You don't have to have all the answers. You just got to make sure that if you're going to tell somebody that you're going to go find out the answer, you find out and you keep making your search. Today we were talking, and it's one of the things I admire about a lot of the partners that I have is I have a specific partner that he's helping someone that doesn't even have to do with anything that has to do with what he does for a living. But it's just a question that he felt like he was going to get the answer, and he's done all the research he has to for this person. You know where that comes from the heart. There's no exchange as far as monetary exchange, but he's just doing that because he felt that he couldn't find the answer and he was going to look for the answer for her question or doubt. That's what you do. You go and search for the answer. You don't have to know everything. No one knows everything about everything. Let's see. This might be a challenge for me. You don't truly believe in what you're doing. You are fooling yourself. Are you 1,000% sold out to what you are doing? That's all about fear there. This is what people are scared of. If you're not sold out to what you're doing, yeah, this is what it goes back to what you just said a few minutes ago, exposing you. It exposes you. Some people keep scars as a reminder and some cover them up with tattoos. That's a good one. Yes, sir. That was answering your other question. Okay, thank you, Elimnish. I'm going to go to the second question right now that I have. Let's see. Question number 2. How do you know whether you should keep a conversation behind closed doors? That was the question. I got a general answer. If it would create confusion, harm credibility, or you're still emotionally, listen to that word, emotionally processing it, keep it private for now. Share lessons, not open wounds, guys. As an entrepreneur, you want to make sure you have a lesson behind what you're saying, especially when you're talking to people you work with. Wait until you can speak in clarity instead of creating chaos. That's when you know the difference, whether it's something that should stay in the locker room or in the boardroom. If you can deliver it with a lesson behind it, and you're very clear and precise, then I think it's pretty safe to just have it out loud. You can say it out loud. But if not, if there's any emotional attachment, you're still processing it emotionally, be careful of the words that come out of your mouth. This is for entrepreneurship. Once again, I keep saying that because I almost wish I could have the words come out entrepreneurship, before people start getting my message confused. Let's see. They have limited belief about themselves. Oh, you're answering question one. I see what you're saying. I see conversations are happening in the chat. I love that. Keep talking to each other. Let's and we can always go. That's question two, guys. How do you know what's the difference? Whether it's a conversation that should go out publicly or stay behind closed doors. I gave you the answer, but if you guys are going to answer questions for me to post up here, just make sure you go to Q2. Make sure that's Q2 so it's clear for all the viewers and for myself. I'm going to go to question number 3. What are the warning signs it's time to speak? It's time to seek help or support. How does one know? How would I know? I got an answer for this, but how would you know as an entrepreneur it's time for you to seek help? Because there's a word, a three-letter word that keeps people from asking for help. You know what that word is? Ego. Someone that thinks they have all the answers. Ego keeps people from asking, but I'm going to tell you what are tall tale signs for you to say, okay, I need to seek help. Let's see. The answer to your question number 2, if it's going to give clarity versus damage. There you go. That's question 2. Thank you for that. And I'll make sure I post that up real quick so people can see it in the chat. Question to number 2. Oh, there's a whole conversation going on here. Oh, look at that. Limnish figured out the word before I said it, ego. Wait. When you plateaued. Coach, you're in my notes too? Get out of my notes, man. I know you're laughing, giggling over there as if you knew what I was going to say. This is how you know you need to seek help. If you're constantly hitting roadblocks, you need help. If you're going in the same direction, if you feel like you're on a hamster wheel, on a treadmill, you're moving, but you ain't going nowhere, you need help. You need to seek help. If you're suffering from stress because of it, or any type of burnout is coming your way, you know your body, you know your mind. If you have stress and burnout, it's time to seek for help. You know what? Number 3 was, if you plateau or if your results go from here and they start doing this, you need help. And lastly, if you're working harder, you're putting in that extra effort, putting in more hours, more time, and there's no growth. You're not scaling. You need to seek help. I'll repeat those again. If you're constantly hitting the same roadblocks, you need help. Stress or burnout, you need help. If you plateau or you got declining results, you need help. If you're working harder and results are not coming, or you're not scaling and you're putting in the work, you need help. Please, if you're watching this, write that down, because that's not only for business, that's also for life. If you keep doing the same thing, assuming you're going to get a different result, you need help. That's how you know you need help. Those are tall tale signs that you need assistance, and you need to look towards someone who has ETA. There is a difference between working hard and working smart. Yes, there is. Ask for help if you see no progress. Basically what I said. I love it. I love it. People are in tune today. Woo! We're on the same wavelength. We're all coming to the same place right now. We're all connected. I like that. Here's question 4 for you. How do you know if someone is qualified to give you advice? We already said ETA, right? ETA, that's the answer. I had that there, but that's the answer. You're looking for ETA, someone who has experience, theory, with a proven track record, and has application. Now, the application part is the one I want you to be. Theory, you can see, through conversation. I want you to really think about application. For me, at least. I'll tell you why. Because there's people that have the experience and the track record and the theory, right? Theory and track record. But the application doesn't exist in today's day and age. In my industry, I don't know if I would necessarily go 100% with somebody that did what I do in the 60s. It's a different world. Yeah, you might get same objections, but it's a whole different world. I mean, we do things over the internet now. I'm just saying. So application is very big for me. Question number 5, guys. Question number 5. Before I close out for you. How does living, oh, this was a good one. I should have had this one posted up because I got a lot of interaction today. I have a lot of interaction. How does living authentically impact your business and your peace long term? How does living authentically impact your business and your peace long term? I'll let that marinate for a second. Let's see. I know somebody's typing away. Yes, sir. I'll let that marinate. Well, I'll let that marinate. I got to put this one up because it's true about what I said before. Per my man Alex, we are vibrating on the same frequency. Yes, we are. I like that. Here's what I have. Long term, it creates alignment. You stop wasting energy pretending. Because listen, to live a lie, to keep faking it, that creates so much weight. And it's so hard to do long term. Remember, I said long term there. So you'll stop wasting energy long term. It also builds trust. Look, I'm not perfect by no means. I'm good at what I do. You know what? I'll pat myself in the back. I'm better than good. I'm better than good at what I do, but I'm not the bad, like the absolute at all when it comes to, no, nobody knows it all. But I'm always out there ready to learn. And I'm always every day I'm at least 1% better than the day I was before. And I do that intentionally. So that being said, it's much easier for me to focus on that than to waste energy pretending to be something I'm not. It strengthens your relationships with people long term if you stay authentic. And it attracts the right client, the right partners, and the right team to you long term. Authenticity brings both. Hear the words that you all want to hear as an entrepreneur: peace and profit. That's how authenticity helps impact your business long term. It brings both peace and profit. It strengthens your relationships, your partnerships, your clients, your partners. It brings it all together because the right people are going to be your people. Plain and simple. So it's much easier to be authentic. Let's see. Oh, here we go. We got another one here. I love this. Man, the participation today got me overwhelmed. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I love you so much for just participating. Wow, clients can feel and peep your sincerity and integrity. And you are in the game for if you're in the game for more than 3 years and you fizzle out, and now you're doing something else. Yes. See, if you're just changing careers constantly, it's hard to maintain that. Oh, there is no future in fronting. Unpack that. Fronting. What does that mean? Woo, you're showing your age, girl. People don't speak like that no more. So I'm going to leave you with some thoughts here. Here's my closing remark. First, I'm going to leave it open for a few seconds to see if anybody pops anything else, but I want to leave you with a closing remark here, guys. And I want you to take everything that you see that's going on and really apply it to your life and to your entrepreneurship, man, because the world is changing, man. We need more people to be authentic. We also got to be careful of what we put out there. Laughing at me. We got to be more authentic. We got to be very careful what we're saying. So at the end of the day, success without peace isn't success at all, guys. The world doesn't need a polished version of you. So what people want is your authenticity. If you're thinking about starting to go out into social media, if you're thinking about leading a team, if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, believe me when I say that what people appreciate is authenticity. That's what people want. They don't want a made up version of who you really are, because then they don't really know who you really are. It needs the real you. So stop dimming your light to fit in someone else's mold. Be bold. Be bold enough to be authentic. And don't forget to be unapologetic enough to build by your own terms. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege to sit here, speak my truth, my opinion as well, because it's my opinion, it's not fact, with you guys today. I love the fact that you share your time with me. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you gave me your time, and I'm appreciative of that. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, be blessed.